Hi, everyone. I am so glad that you are here with us this evening. I am Whitney Ray. I'm a managing director with Beautycounter. I'm joined by Ashley Fleming. And what we are going to do just over the next few minutes is share with you about the consultant side of Beautycounter. We're going to talk about different ways that you can work this business. We're going to talk about different questions that people have that they want answered before they, click join to become a consultant. And we're going to share some just powerful things from Beautycounter about what our business is like, why we share person to person, and what is really in store for us for the rest of 2020. I hope you're really excited to be here. We are so glad that you are. One thing I always like to point out is Beautycounter is a unicorn. And I mean that because, of course, they have amazing products, because I love the way they've organized their company to really do good for the whole world, the people, planet, and for profit. But they're a unicorn in the business sense. Last year, they were purchased. Kind of a partnership was formed with Carlyle because they were sold for $1 billion. It was so incredible to see that investment that's being made in Beautycounter. And the way that they do that is through the consultant field. And we're going to share more about that, but it is an incredible opportunity for you, if you're listening in, to hear whatever part you want to play, big or small, or maybe even just sharing the word about what Beautycounter is doing with a friend. Hopefully, we think that by the end of tonight's call that you are going to really understand what's available, what the next step is for you, and what this can mean for you. So Ashley and I have our own stories to share. We're going to dive into all of this, and I'm so excited to do that. But before we do, we thought, who better to tell Beautycounter's story than Beautycounter themselves? And oh, here we go. I'm going to share with you a quick 1-minute video from Beautycounter, and then I'm going to pass it over to Ashley as she shares her story. Awesome. I mean, I'm pumped up listening to that and watching that. Ashley, I would love to pass it over to you so you can introduce yourself and share a little bit as well.
There we go. I had to wait for you to unmute me. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to be here. I know it is a very busy time. And if you're like me, you have children who are home for the summer and it's just a busy schedule. So we're so glad that you're taking time out of your life to be here with us. My name is Ashley Fleming, and I live in Bloomington, Indiana with my husband and 3 little boys, ages 2, 4, and 7. And I have been with Beautycounter now for over 5 years, which is hard to believe. But I just wanted to share a little bit about how I came to find Beautycounter and why I joined, and just a little bit about my story. And then I know Whitney's going to share a little bit about hers, because we kind of have a different perspective on the business side of Beautycounter. So my background is in corporate brand marketing, specifically in medical devices. And I also worked for Whole30, did some nutrition coaching, and also had a wedding coordination business, along with my husband and I owning a fitness facility / gym for 10 years. So a lot of different things. And I actually found Beautycounter at a Target pop-up. So the cool thing about Beautycounter is that we will occasionally do partnerships. So we had a partnership with Sephora. We had one with J. Crew, Goop. We, occasionally will pop up in these places, and I tried a product from Target and fell in love with the clean ingredients. And a few months later, ended up learning more about it. And before I joined, though, my husband and I, because we had owned so many businesses and we were very business driven, we really took a look at a lot of different things before I joined Beautycounter. And so I wanted to share those things and sort of why I decided that Beautycounter was a great fit. Like Whitney said, we were valued at $1 billion. And one of the things that my husband and I, as we were sort of having this conversation about, me joining and sharing Beautycounter, was that the beauty industry and in general, beauty industry is growing, but really specifically the clean industry, clean beauty, as in safer ingredients, is just growing tremendously. And, 5 years ago, it was still very new. And I still feel like we're very new and we are just leading the way in terms of the clean beauty market and, safer ingredients. I always tell people that, the clean beauty industry is sort of like organic food or grass-fed meat or pasture-raised was about 10 years ago. When I think about the education that we were doing at the gym and through Whole30 and really educating people about, pesticides and why you should be looking for pasture-raised meats and, meats and milks that weren't, created or used with or created with antibiotics and other things, it's very similar to the beauty industry. And so we looked at that and thought, gosh, this is a great opportunity for, me to be a part of something where I can educate, but also really be on the forefront of this clean beauty industry that's just massive. I do not have the numbers. I know Whitney's husband is a whiz with all the market share, but we truly have so much room to grow. I think our market share is pretty small as compared to a lot of other, direct sales companies. And that's not because we're not growing. It's just because we have so much opportunity and there is so much growth and so much education around the clean beauty industry. So I just wanted to sort of cast that vision and share that was a really big part of why I joined, because I felt like, this is something that's going to be huge. And I think, you listening to this call, this is a fantastic time to join Beautycounter because of where we're at in the clean beauty industry. And it's only going to continue to grow. Consumers are only going to continue to want to be more educated about what's in their products and the ingredients that are, in the products that they put on themselves and their children. So that's a little bit about my story, but Whitney, I'd love to hear you share a little bit about yours.
Awesome. Great. Well, I'm so excited to share more. And Ashley and I, we have a lot in common. We both have 3 boys. We're both moms, but like she said, we've come at this from different perspectives. And when I learned about Beautycounter, it was all the things that Ashley just shared, but it was also a personal story of my son. He had really what the pediatrician said, extreme edge of normal. And we were just constantly looking for answers because doctors couldn't tell us, okay, if we just do X, we're going to see results. And so I began to look at what was he eating, what was he putting in his body, and that led us to what were we putting on our bodies. And it really made me aware of how little regulation there was and how much what we're eating and what we're putting on our bodies can impact our health. So that brought Beautycounter into my life. Well, Beautycounter was in my life for 18 months before I decided to click the little join button on the website. And it took me way too long. Please, if you're listening, don't wait 18 months. But I know for me, every 3 months or so, I was sending a message to my consultant, asking a question, whether it was, how do I pick a lip sheer color? And then all of a sudden, by the end of it, it was, tell me more about the compensation plan. Tell me what's required. Tell me how much could I really earn from this? And because what had happened is I really needed an income opportunity. I was, of course, interested in safer things for my son. But at the end of the day, I was like making some things with oil and like, I was such a hippie and like doing my own thing for like 2 cents, or whatever. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know, but I knew I needed an income. Things were changing in my husband's industry. That son who was on the quote, extreme edge of normal, we had a lot of therapy and a lot of different school choices that we needed to make for him. And I knew I want to do anything and everything I could to provide that for him. And so it was really the income opportunity that really was the thing that got me to join with Beautycounter. And I'd only used 3 products. I thought I was good making my hippie, oil face wash at home. Then I was hooked because I didn't know what I didn't know. I absolutely fell in love with the product, but that was secondary. And so maybe as you're listening, we're going to talk more about it and we're going to answer some of those questions. But I would love to point you to beautycounter.com/IDS. It stands for income disclosure statement. It's going to show you what's possible to earn with Beautycounter. And what really stood out to me was some of those things Ashley shared, but it was also that it's product that people use every day. People wash their face every day for the most part. People moisturize. They're going to use a product every day. It's something they need, and that they were going to use it over and over again. So if I work to get a product into someone's hands, they were going to come back and purchase from me and again and again. That was very important to me. And then it also was very important to me that I was never asked to do something that I didn't feel like I could do with my whole heart. And when we dive into how you earn with Beautycounter, hopefully you'll see that as well. It's really all about how can I share it with someone, make sure they get exactly what they need and is right for their budget. And how do I support others in doing that exact same thing? And Beautycounter, I loved how they had their compensation plan set up to really reward that great activity. I joined because I wanted to earn that extra income. For me, it was $3,000 a month. That was my big goal, to provide what my son needed. And I thought it would be this, huge thing for me to do. I hit that within a couple of months through hard work within Beautycounter. And all of a sudden my eyes were open to just how much more was available in Beautycounter. So that's why I want to point you to the income disclosure statement. Of course, it's always about hard work. It's not about hitting the lottery with this kind of business, but we love to show you what it could look like for you, whatever your next step might be with Beautycounter. So I'm so glad that we got this chance to just share our stories. But Ashley, I know we wanted to kind of dive in. I know one of the things we were talking about is, time. Like, how much time does it take to do Beautycounter? Because for whoever's listening, maybe you're thinking about, okay, my story maybe isn't quite like Ashley, or maybe it's a little bit like Whitney's. But we have found that those that are thinking about Beautycounter have some pretty similar questions. You may have a unique one, so please use the chat feature and we'll be sure and answer that as well. But let's just dive in. So Ashley, I'd love for you to just dive in and talk about time. I think that's a really big one that I thought of before I joined, and I know we get asked a lot.
Okay. So I think that this is a great question, and it's something that I think comes up anytime that I'm talking with someone about joining Beautycounter. And I think the beauty in this job is that there really is no set time. I mean, I think if you look across the board at all of the women that are on our teams and that are sharing Beautycounter, and you ask them, how many hours a week do you spend on Beautycounter, you would hear all the things. You would hear 1 hour to 3 hours to more, or anywhere on the scale. And so I think it's important to note that we say this a lot, that this job is flexible but not optional. And I always said that, coming from a corporate job, like, I always really wanted to work. I enjoyed working with other women. I enjoyed working and sharing products, and I love this mission. I just wanted to be able to do it on my own terms, and I wanted to be able to do it on my own time, especially with children. I, needed a little bit of different work hours. So maybe before they woke up, or at lunch, or on a walk, or in the evening. And so, I really think with Beautycounter, it depends on what you want out of it as well. That's something that we will coach people through. So if you have, we'll talk a little bit more about compensation too, but I think aligning the time that you have to spend and the amount that you want to put into sharing Beautycounter with what you want to get out of it. There's a very easy connection that we can help you make between, a paycheck that you want and the amount of work that you need to do. We have some pretty, set in stone numbers with average size orders and the paychecks. And so it's really easy to say, okay, this person wants this paycheck. Okay, well, then that's going to equal this many orders, which is probably going to be about this much work. So we don't say that there's a specific time that it takes. Just know that you can really do this job in any way, shape, or form that fits your needs. We have people that share it a little bit. We have people that do it like a full-time business, and anywhere in between. So hopefully that helps a little bit, Whitney, but I'd love to, can I ask you the question about, one of the things that people always ask me, or that they share, is that they're not a salesperson. They'll say, oh my gosh, I could never do what you do. Like, I'm not a salesperson. Sales don't come naturally to me. And I know, Whitney, although you have been in sales, it wasn't maybe something that was really natural at the beginning. So I would love to hear how you would answer that if somebody's saying, well, what do I do if I'm not a salesperson and I want to join Beautycounter?
Oh yeah, no, I'm so excited to share about that one. My background, I'm an English major. Deep in my heart of hearts, I'm an introvert, and I would love to just have a small one-off conversation. And me being able to do this call like this is after years and years of practice. It's not my natural place that I enjoy. So what I usually really think of, and what I think of now, is when someone says that, what you probably mean by that is either one of two things. Is one, I don't want to talk people into something that they don't want. So you maybe have this idea that maybe you've experienced somebody in a sales role where you've left that interaction not feeling great. Maybe you wanted to return the item. Maybe you felt like you added too much. Maybe it was, it just wasn't meeting your needs and you left feeling not so great. And you think, I don't want to do that to someone else. The second one might just simply be, maybe you don't feel like you're a really persuasive person, like someone who can just step up in front of a crowd and talk about the things that you love. And maybe that's what you associate with being a salesperson, is being able to stand in front of a group and share what you love. So I just want to answer those two questions if that somewhat resonates with you. The first one is, doing sales in a beautiful way is truly saying what my needs are, take a back seat to the need of the person in front of me. And so what I have found is the interactions I've had with a salesperson who has that attitude, I leave feeling just so excited and on the top of the world and like so cared for. And that moment happened at Nordstrom, buying my first pair of clog shoes. They were kind of like a clog booty. This was years ago, and everyone was wearing them. I hadn't yet bought any. And I walk in and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to this event and I need this shoe. And I happened to wander into kind of the nicer side of Nordstrom shoes area. And someone came over to help me. And I began to tell her, hey, I want to try this new shoe, but I'm nervous. And she began to ask me questions. Where are you going to wear it? What kind of outfits? Okay. And she just asked question after question. She ended up going over to the sale rack. She brought me some shoes. They weren't meeting my need. She went over to the sale rack, found me a pair of shoes that was on massive clearance, and helped me buy that pair of shoes that was on clearance because it met my need the most. It checked all the boxes. And I still think of her today. I think of her every time I walk into Nordstrom with a smile on my face. And I think she helped me get what I needed. I needed a shoe. And what she did is she listened to me. She helped me meet my need. As I gave her information, she listened and adjusted. And I just think, if you are listening in, if you're a little bit nervous about ever leaving somebody with that bad taste in their mouth after an interaction with you, that doesn't have to be your story. We have so much training and so much support within what Ashley and I provide and within what our teams provide to help you learn how to be a great question asker and a great responder to what people's feedback is. So that will make you a great salesperson no matter what, without ever having to leave anyone feeling like they have buyer's remorse after engaging with you. And then secondly, if you don't feel confident standing up in front of a crowd and sharing what you love, that's okay too. We have so many ways to share. And I think when we were talking about this call, all the ways that you can do Beautycounter, you can share Beautycounter one-on-one. When I first started, that's what I did. I had a little basket of product. I would drop it on someone's front porch and let them use it for a few days. I would come pick it up. We would sit and talk about what they loved, what they didn't, help, talk through budget, get an order placed. And that was so comfortable for me because I was able to do it in a one-on-one way. We have lots of different ways to meet different people's personality types, time types, where their community is, where they're connected. You might be all online and we're going to show you how to do that. You might be all in person. But if you're thinking, okay, I'm not a salesperson for any of those two reasons, I hope some of that will help set your heart at ease and help you see that there's lots of different ways that you can do this if you just kind of think about it in a different way. It's service, not sales to someone. It's serving someone, not selling to someone. Okay. Ashley, I think this is another great question for you, if you don't mind me asking you another one. It kind of goes along with this. Okay, I'm not a salesperson. We're listening to all of these things. If you're listening in, this was something I know I asked in my 18 months as I sent my messages back and forth. Okay, how do I actually earn money with Beautycounter? Because for me, that was a big need I had. What did it actually look like? Was it clear? Could I understand exactly what I needed to do to earn money with Beautycounter? What does that look like, Ashley?
Okay, well, one of the things that I didn't share at the beginning is that because I knew Whitney was going to talk about it a little bit was the compensation plan. And that was actually another huge reason why I joined with Beautycounter. And again, when my husband and I were kind of sitting down and looking at this opportunity from a business perspective, we thought, oh my gosh, this is a legitimate business opportunity. And there's a very easy, not easy, simple way to make money and to make a paycheck. So on a very basic level, we make between 25 and 35% commission on anything we sell. So I like to think of that as, on a $100 order, you're making 25 to $35 on, and that's great. I mean, that's a great return when you look at, other compensation plans or for us, we owned a gym. And so we were selling things and, a lot of times you're making like maybe 10% or 15% and it's not great. And so, to earn between 25 and 35% is just really fantastic. We also, as consultants, we get additional discounts on things like holiday sets and new product releases. We just had the new concealer that came out, and we have a new product coming the end of this month. And we have the opportunity as consultants to get additional discounts on top of our consultant discount, which is 25%. So sometimes those pre-sale bundles will be like an extra 15%. So you're really getting like 30% or, whatever the math is, it changes sometimes, but it's a great opportunity to get a good deal. And also we'll talk about this a little later, but when you're enrolling the starter kits, there are a bunch of options and you can actually get like 40% off of those. So not only are you getting a great option to actually like make money from sales, but you get a great discount as well. We get free and half off products for sharing Beautycounter. So there's a lot of other non-monetary ways to earn, but I just think, looking at our compensation plan is wonderful. If you do choose to have a team, that's something that you do not have to do. You earn even more on what your team sells. And so we're not going to go into the compensation plan. Make sure you reach out to the person who joined or invited you, or reach out to Whitney and I. We're more than happy to explain the details of it. But it is a really fair and generous compensation plan. So that's all I'll say about that, because I feel like Whitney and I, we could talk about the compensation plan and dive deeply into it. But I do think that it's wonderful. And there is a real way to make an income for those who, have a need, a paycheck need.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, and let me just kind of, piggyback off of that. We do love talking about the compensation plan. And I think because it's so clear, when you sell 25 to 35, or when you sell anything, you're always going to earn 25% commission. And the more you sell, you can earn up to 35% commission. It's clear as day. We always, are like, if you need to earn $500, awesome. Let's go out and sell, basically $1,500 in product. And there's your $500 paycheck. It's very clear. Just like Ashley was saying, how much time do you have? What kind of goal do you need? Let's break it down, and let's make that happen for you. And the same is for the team. This was really big for me. Actually, I won't go into all the details in it, but what was very big for me was how was I going to be compensated if people wanted to join and do this with me? And what I found was it wasn't about bringing in huge numbers. It wasn't about, I had to have an X number of people join every month to, get a certain income, which other companies did have. I didn't like that because it would make me become that person I didn't want to become. I wanted to always partner with someone else in what they needed or wanted to get out of Beautycounter. And as a mentor, I get rewarded based on how successful they are. So it doesn't matter how many people I have, it matters how successful I help each individual. And that was very, very wonderful for me. So one of the questions that goes along with this, is there a minimum that I have to sell to stay active? Is there a minimum that I have to purchase? So other companies, sometimes they're going to say, you need to actually purchase X amount before you can earn commission. And that does not exist in Beautycounter. I love that. I tell every new consultant that joins with me, I want you earning as much as possible free. As a new consultant, there's extra ways to earn free product, just like Ashley was talking about free and half off items. We always want consultants earning the income and earning the free product, not spending money on it. So there's nothing required whatsoever except for the join fee. That's going to cover your year of a website, all the training, everything that Beautycounter offers. It's $50. Or if you are already a Band of Beauty member, our loyalty membership program, then it's only going to be $21, which is a wonderful thing. So you can upgrade for just those small costs. Those are the only thing that's required. You can, of course, opt into some of those greater discounts and the join sets, or purchase anything you'd like from Beautycounter at 25% off, but it's not required. The one thing that is required is it's 750 in volume in 6 months time. So every 6 months, they want you to have 750 in volume. That's the retail value of anything you purchase, as well as anything that you sell. So that way we just have a little bit of activity there, showing that you're purchasing, sharing with a few friends and family, and that's going to continue to help you continue to guarantee your consultant status. But to me, $750 over 6 months, it's just a little over $100 a month. It's really doable, and we think it's a very reasonable bar. And like I said, we always want you earning money, not spending it. So we don't want you spending that money to get you there. We want to help you share your link and share your website and help people shop with Beautycounter. And something fun that's coming in just a short time with Beautycounter is an ability to build a cart and share that with others. So you get to put things in a cart, send it to them, and they get to shop. So we have all kinds of things. And I see Ashley says the average size order is $125. So that's really 6 orders over 6 months. So one average size order a month, and that's going to get you to your minimum right then and there. Well, Ashley, I want to pass it back over to you as you just kind of wrap us up before we go to Q&A and share a few more thoughts before we do that.
Yeah, so we're going to show just one more little video that's like a minute long. But before that, I just really want to encourage you that if you are on the fence about joining Beautycounter, that you just do it and jump in. Even 5 years in, I'm still learning things every week. I feel like I'm a person that really likes to research, and I like to know all the things, but I promise you that you will not regret joining Beautycounter if you just jump in now and go for it. We're really at a wonderful time. We have so much going on. We are actually in the middle of an incentive. I know that maybe depending on when you're listening to this, it may not be going on, but we have so much going on right now. And like I talked about earlier with the industry, with where we're at, it's just a fantastic time to join. So I want to just encourage you to not think about it so much. You will always be learning. And as mentors, we are here to help. We have so many resources for you to get started wherever you are at and whatever you want to do with Beautycounter. So I just want to encourage you to do that, to just take the leap and know that, you have lots of support, and we want to help you in your journey. So I am going to talk a little bit about the enrollment kits too. I don't have the image pulled up. Whitney, I don't know if we want to show that or if we can just talk through it. If you have it, we can pull it up. But like I said earlier, when you're enrolling as a consultant, you've got 2 options. If you're a Band of Beauty member, you're only going to be spending $21. So basically they take the $29 Band of Beauty fee and they apply it to the joiner fee. So you're going to be paying $21 to join Beautycounter as a consultant. If you're not yet a Band of Beauty member, you can join for still $50, which I think is a fantastic deal. And here you can see we've got these wonderful starter sets. So depending on where you're at and how much product you currently have or what you want to do with your business, maybe you know that you just want to jump in and you want to work this as a business. Look at this and say, which one would I use? I tell people to think about also how they're going to share Beautycounter. Are you, like Whitney saying, we talked about the different ways. Are you going to be doing one-on-ones where you're going to be meeting with people, or will you be doing events where you're going and maybe doing a little boutique event or an event in someone's home and you need a little bit more product? So here we have skincare basics, bestsellers, and deluxe skincare. I think that middle set, I think we can all agree as leaders that that middle set is just a really great kind of middle of the road sweet spot, because you've got our core lines and our best-selling products, vitamin C serum, overnight peel in that sample bundle. You can add on any of the others too. Actually, now you can choose any of those. Flawless and 5 is our makeup set, which is wonderful. Counter Plus are some of our best-selling products that are sort of add-ons. And then you have the sample packs, which are wonderful to just pop in the mail to someone or to drop off in a basket. So wanted to just make sure that you saw that and you can see the value there. So these are, like I said, around a 40% savings, which is great because we normally get 25% off. So if you are considering joining, just make sure to take a look at that. You can also, I'll add a la carte products as you're checking out. So if there's, something on here that you don't need, or if you want to get the skincare basics, but you want some of the counter timeline, you can do that. Really, they've made it super easy and very flexible to join with whatever works for you and your budget and how you're going to share Beautycounter. So I'm going to show just a little video really quick. Whitney, if you can, let me see if I can
Would you
share.
like me to, you want me to do it?
Oh, do you have it?
I have it. I'm all ready to do
Perfect.
it. Yes.
Awesome.
And before we do that, I just have to read 2 comments from the chat. It's a great Gina or Reagan said, the mentorship has been the best surprise in this business over the last 3 years for me. Truly there for me every step of the way and celebrating my wins with me. And Gina said, yes, agree, Reagan. I love the community too. This has been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. So glad Chelsea asked me to learn about the opportunity. So I'm so glad they're here. I didn't know that they would be here, but I wanted to read out those incredible comments because it's so important. The person who invited you to this call or shared this recording with you, they would be with you every step of the way. Ashley, myself, so many others as well. You don't even know how many people are going to be in your corner, cheering you on, excited for you and what you want to get out of this business and helping you do it. So I'm so glad they added that into the chat. And when you are going in and you click join and you're going through the process, be sure you click the adding in that mentorship. You're going to get all the great things from HQ as well as that added support and cheering on from your mentor. So I want to share this video that Ashley shared, and then we are going to be back to share just a few more very important things with you.
If you don't believe in the power of beauty, maybe we can change your mind. In 2010, Beautycounter began with one person and a dream to change the world for good by removing toxic chemicals from products and creating a clean beauty industry, one that actually acts beautifully. That one person with a dream became 2 people with a dream, then 200, then 2,000. Now, over 50,000 advocates are making it a reality, with millions in our community following suit. Every text sent and story told, every shampoo switched and lipstick sold, every move made by every single one of us adds to the clean movement. Together, we're changing laws, changing minds, and changing lives. One action at a time. Because you see, the power of beauty to make the world a more beautiful place isn't in the eye of the beholder, it's in the hands of those who be, and do, and act. Beautycounter, join the movement.